Hello, friends. Today we will do My Greatest Olympic Prize, written by Jesse Owens. This is a chapter of ICC Class 10. My Greatest Olympic Prize is a short story describing Jesse Owens' experience at the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. Actually, it is an autobiographical piece written by him and his experience during the Olympic. As we know, Jesse Owen was a very famous athlete and he has written this piece in 1960. The title of the story refers to the friendship of Luz Long as the writer's greatest Olympic prize. Though he won 4 gold medals, but the lifelong friendship was much bigger achievement for him. So let's start the chapter. This chapter is a very important. Rather than a story, it is also a part of historical commentary of 1936 Olympics. The main characters in this story are obviously two, Luz and Owen himself, but at the background somewhere Hitler is also dominating the story. Let's start. It was the summer of 1936. The Olympic Games were being held in Berlin. Because Hitler childishly insisted that his performers were members of a master race, nationalist feeling were at an all-time high. This is written in a narrative form as it is an autobiographical piece. So Jesse says it was the summer of 1976 and the Olympic Games were being held in Berlin. And because of Hitler's childishly insisted. So this word childishly, why does he use this? Because Hitler thought that they belong to the superior race and all the other people belonging to the different countries, they very well knew that this is a very childish thought. So this word has been used sarcasm as a sarcasm on Hitler. Secondly, Owen also says that because of this thought of Hitler, a nationalist feeling was also there among the other athletes or the other participants of the Olympic. And since this Olympic was being held at Berlin, so somewhere Hitler was there to dominate it indirectly or directly. I wasn't too worried about all this. I had trained, sweated, and disciplined myself for 6 years with the games in mind. So this two line tells us about the Owen's hard work that he had done for 6 years in order to get the gold medal in this Berlin Olympic. So it tells us about the Owen's hard work and what type of athlete he was. While I was going over on the boat, all I could think about was taking home 1 or 2 of those gold medals. I had my eye specially on the running broad jump. So Owen says that he has worked really hard, so his aim was to get at least 1 or 2 of those gold medal, and specially he was aiming at the broad jump, that is the long jump. And a year before, as a sophomore at Ohio State University, I had set the world's record of 26 feet 8 and a quarter inches. So already he had set a world record of 26 feet 8 and a quarter inches. So he was quite confident of winning a particular gold in the broad jump. Everyone kind of expected me to win that Olympic event hands down. So there was a high expectation from Owen regarding this broad jump that he will easily get over this, and easy gold was there from Owen from the broad jump. Even Owen was quite confident regarding this. And overall he has practiced so hard that he had no doubt regarding this. I was in for a surprise when the time came for the broad jump trials. I was startled to see a tall boy hitting the pit at almost 26 feet on his practice leaps. He turned out to be a German named Luz Long. I was told that Hitler had kept him under wraps, evidently hoping to win the jump with him. Now, this is a very important paragraph where Owen confesses that he was quite surprised to see a tall boy. Tall boy indicates that this boy was even taller than Owen, who even in the trial was giving 26 feet leap practices. So if a person who in the practice leap was giving was almost hitting a 26 feet, he would definitely do better in the finals. Now this somewhere shook away Owen, that if anybody could go for such a leap in the trial factors or even in the practice leap, so this somewhere shook the confidence of Owen. According to Owen, Hitler has kept this person, Lars Long, under wraps because everybody was expecting a gold from the broad jump from Owen, and nobody thought about Lars Long, nobody rather knew about Lars Long, and Hitler hasn't exposed Lars to the world. Why? Because somewhere again he wanted to prove to the world that German was a superior race and they can win over anything, where even world hasn't expected over there German can take over. I guess that if Long won, it would add some new support to the Nazis' Aryan superiority theory. After all, I am a Negro. A little hot under the collar about Hitler's ways, I determined to go out there and really show the Führer and his master race who was superior and who wasn't. So over here, Owen says that I guess that if Long wants, Lars Long wants, so again this will add a feather to the Nazis theory, that somewhere Nazis are far more superior. And over here he says since he himself was a Negro. Now at present we don't use the word Negro, it is a racist word nowadays, but at that time Negroes or the Negro word was used for the blacks, and but at present we don't write, and this neither write or say, and this was written long back. A little hot under the collars about Hitler's way, I determined, but Owen has made up his mind to show Hitler that who was superior, who was the master race. So in a way he has taken the challenge. An angry athlete is an athlete who will make mistakes. As any coach will tell you, I was no exception. On the first of my 3 qualifying jumps, I leaped from several inches beyond the takeoff board for a foul. On the second jump, I fouled even worse. Did I take 3,000 miles for this? I thought bitterly. To foul out of the trials and make a fool of myself? Now, in this particular paragraph, Owen confesses that an angry athlete is an athlete who will make mistakes. It is applicable to all the people. Whenever we are angry, we can never take a good decision. Whenever we are angry, we are sure to make mistakes. Whenever we are angry, we are sure to make enemies. So the same thing is applicable for Owen over here. Since he was very angry, he was distressed somewhere, he was depressed somewhere, so he was going on making the mistake. He was so much distressed that even he could not qualify, he was not able to qualify, and he was continuously making foul. So at a moment came when he thought that did I came all the way crossing 3,000 miles for this, to make a fool out of himself, to see the world laughing at him, that the person who has once made a world record couldn't even cross the trials. So, this further distressed him. Walking a few yards from the pit, I kicked disgustedly at the dirt. Suddenly, I felt a hand on my shoulder. I turned to look about. Friendly blue eyes of the tall German broad jumper. He had easily qualified for the finals on his first attempt. He offered me a firm handshake. So Owen went a few yards from the pit and he kicked disgustedly at the dirt. He was feeling very angry about himself. Suddenly, he felt a firm hand on his shoulder. He turned back to look, and he saw very friendly blue eyes of a tall German broad jumper. Who was on the other side? It was Lars, and he had very easily qualified on the very first attempt, and he gave a firm handshake. Over here, the friendly eyes indicate that this German was altogether not a bad person, and he came with a good intention to him. Jesse Owens, I am Lars Long. I don't think we have met. He spoke English well, though with a German twist to it. So he introduced himself and he said, "We haven't met yet." And although he spoke English well, but there was a German accent and a twist to it. "Glad to meet you," I said. Then, trying to hide my nervousness, I added, "How are you?" "I am fine. The question is, how are you?" He said, "I am fine, but the question is, how are you?" Over here, it shows, the less perspectiveness, that he was very clear that Jesse was not at all well. He could feel that Jesse was somewhere very distressed, and that's why he came to talk to him. He came to console him. Jesse asked, "What do you mean?" "Something must be eating you," he said, proud the way foreigners are when they are mastered a bit of American slang. "You have been able to qualify with your eye closed." Now he said, "What happened to you? You are such a person who could have qualified this with your eyes closed." "Believe me, I know it," I told him, and it felt good to say that to someone. Now even Jesse confessed that, "Yes, I know that I could have done it." And after saying this, Jesse felt a little better. Now over here, when Luz said that you could have qualified this with your eyes closed, this shows that he has a real admiration for Jesse. For the next few minutes, we talked together. I didn't tell long what was eating me, but he seemed to understand my anger and he took pain to reassure me. Although he had been schooled in the Nazi youth movement, he did not believe in the Aryan supremacy business any more than I did. We laughed over the fact that he really looked the part, though an inch taller than I. He had a lean, muscular frame, clear blue eyes, blonde hair, and a striking, handsome, chiseled face. Finally, seeing that I had calmed down somewhat, he pointed to the takeoff board. So for the next few moments and few minutes, they talked together, but Owens did not confess what was eating him up, although Luz seemed to know very well what was going on into Owens' mind. They talked about themselves, and he said that he has been born and brought up at Nazis. He has been schooled up at the Nazis youth movement, but he never believed in the Aryan supremacy business, as Owen never did. So this somehow, there was a bondage between them, started a bondage between them. And over here in this paragraph, it is clearly written he was an inch taller. This small things give a big dimension to your answers. When you write the small things, the person who check your answer sheet, they know that you have gone through the chapter very well. So the small things when added to your answer makes a huge difference. So this physical appearance of Luz is very important. An inch taller than I. So this shows that Luz was even an inch taller than Owens. He was lean, had a muscular frame. Obviously, since he was a very good athlete, he would have a very good physique. Clear blue eyes. This is said second time in the chapter. Blonde hair. Generally good Germans have that. And strikingly handsome chiseled face. Chiseled face means having very sharp features. Finally, saying that, I had calmed down somewhat. So finally, Owen calms down and he pointed to takeoff board. And then he, over here we see Luz also gives him some tips about how to take over in the another paragraph. "Look," he said, "why don't you draw a line a few inches in back of the board and aim at making your takeoff from there? You will be sure not to foul and you will certainly ought to jump far enough to qualify. What does it matter if you are not first in the trials? Tomorrow is what counts." So seeing that, Luz has very, minutely observed what mistake Jesse was making, and so he gives him certain tips that to draw a line few inches in back of the board and take off from that particular point, and then surely he won't make the foul this time, because this was his last chance for the trial. He said that it doesn't matter whether he comes first or not in the trials, because what count is tomorrow, because their D-Day is the next day, that is when the finals will be held. Now this point strikes Owen. Suddenly all the tension seemed to ebb out of the body. Ebb out of the body means goes out of the body, as the truth of what he said hit me. Confidently, I drew a line a full foot in back of the board and proceeded to jump from there. I qualified with almost a foot to spare. And this thing, hit Owen, and he did as Luz said, and he very easily qualified. That night, I walked over to Luz Long's room in the Olympic Village to thank him. I knew that if it hadn't been for him, I probably wouldn't be jumping in the finals the following day. We sat in the quarters and talked for 2 hours about track and field, ourselves, the world situation, a dozen other things. So, Owen knew very well that it was only for Luz that he had cleared the trials and he will be going for the finals. So he went that night to thank Luz, and they talked for around 2 hours about different things, obviously about their own sports, track field, about themselves, the world situation, and dozen other things. When I finally got up to leave, we both knew that a real friendship has been formed. Luz would go out to the field the next day trying to beat me if he could, but I knew that he wanted me to do my best, even if that meant my winning. So that night, they knew that a real friendship has already developed between them. Luz would obviously give his best the next day, but at the same time, Luz genuinely wanted his friend to do best, even if that means Owen's winning. As it turned out, Luz broke his own past record. In doing so, he pushed me onto a peak performance. So next day, Luz has broken his own record. But when Luz performed so well, Owen was further pushed back, encouraged to do a better performance or to give a better performance. I remember that at the instant I landed from my final jump, the one which set the Olympic record of 26 feet 5 and 5 by 16 inches, he was at my side congratulating me. So finally, Owen also, set up a Olympic record. Although he did not broke his own world record, but an Olympic record was set. And who was the first person to congratulate him? It was Luz. Despite the fact that Hitler glared at us from the stands not 100 yards away, Luz shook my hand hard, and it wasn't a fake smile with a broken heart, short of grip either. And Luz came, although Hitler was standing not even 100 yards away. Luz himself came, he shook hands, and it was not a fake one, or the smile was not a broken heart smile, and it was a genuine smile with a, very true heart. He shook hands with Owen. You can melt down all the gold medals and cup I have, and they couldn't be a plating on the 24-carat friendship I felt for Luz Long at that moment. I realized then too that Luz was the epitome of what Pierre Deschamps, founder of the modern Olympic Games, must have had in mind when he said, "The important thing in the Olympic game is not winning, but taking part. The essential thing in life is not conquering, but fighting well." So, over here Owen says, if he could melt all the gold medals and cups, he couldn't replace that with the 24-carat friendship that he has earned that day for Luz Long. And he also said that it's not about winning, it's about fighting well. It's about conquering. It's not about conquering, but it's about reaching your destination. So, it's about how you the path of glory is more important. It's not only about how you win or how you obviously success is important, but always winning is not important. Similar thing applies to you students also. Obviously marks are important, but the process of achieving those marks are also important. So this chapter in a way is a very motivational chapter, and as such the story, you say as a story or you say as a autobiographical part, as a whole is no doubt a very very important one, and as a student you should take it as a role model for yourself. Jesse as a role model for yourself, also Luz as a role model, that we should work hard and achieve what we have, but the glory, the path to glory is much more important. Thank you.